Oh, there we go. Hello, everyone. Super excited to be at this first panel. So I'm going to introduce you to two deep tech founders who I describe this as making the invisible visible. They're both working on systems that our cities run on, but most of us never think about until something goes wrong. But I want you to think about, we're starting to think about infrastructure and cities. And what if we started to treat those systems as not dumb, but actually as smart, intelligent systems that we could see, learn, and tell us things before something breaks? That's what these two founders are doing. I'm going to meet and learn more about them, from robots that crawl through pipes no human can ever reach, to digital twins that map entire cities in real time. They're both rewriting how we plan, build, and care for our built world. So I want to start with you both. Maybe Harrison, I'm going to come to you first. You're both working in areas we rarely think about, pipes. Tell us what happens in that moment when it goes wrong. Who's affected? Who's it costing? What's the cost to the public as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So Puralink itself was born out of the bushfires and droughts of 2019. If you think back, we were under stage 2 water restrictions, so it meant you can't water your garden, you can't wash your car. And I was on my way to work one day and I was greeted with a nice pipe leak right in front of my house. And it turned almost the entire street into a river. So great start to the day. Sydney Water shows up, they start digging. Can't find the leak. So the water's off for the street, they have to dig up half the street to find where this leak is. And you can start to see how inefficient and how wasteful this unseen kind of utility is. And so at Puralink, what we've developed is an autonomous robot that can navigate through these corners, intersections, and even vertical pipes down at small diameters so that you don't have to dig to find out what's wrong. You can go in and have a look.
So tell me a little bit about who is impacted, who's paying for that problem when it happens?
As all of your water bills would show, all of us in this room. So the more expensive our networks are to maintain, the higher our water bills are.
Great. Thank you, Harrison. Now, Anna, I'd love you to help us imagine what does a digital twin look like? What's it helping to unlock? Help us step into that digital world.
Yeah, sure. Oh, working. Good. Can you please show me or let me know if you ever played SimCity or you know of SimCity? Hands up. Okay. So even if you haven't played it, that's a game, right? It's a game in which users are basically designing, building and managing a city. And they do that by managing the growth, the resources, and the communities in the city. Now, what if we can make that into reality and actually have a simulation that would help us manage our cities of today and of tomorrow? And this is exactly what we are set up to do, and that's our vision. How can we make it with data that is flowing through different systems, manage a city of the future, and make sure the resources, the climate risk is managed, and the communities are living in a livable community and urban setting. So that's what Terria is planning to do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So we're making the unseen, the hidden, we can all of a sudden see it. And I'm keen to know from both of you what value and decision making is unlocked when we're able to do that. So maybe Harrison, starting with you. What possibilities open up when we're able to send Puralink robots down the pipes? Who are you helping? Who's benefiting from this? And how is it helping to manage our infrastructure and cities better? Yeah,
so all of you right now, you're probably sitting directly above a pipe or multiple and you wouldn't even know it. So it's really out of sight and out of mind. And globally, we're losing about 30% of all our fresh, clean drinking water to pipe leaks. So it's a really big problem. Climate insecurity is making it worse. And so what we do is we sell our tech to the service providers and civil contractors. So if you imagine Sydney Water or your municipal water supplier sits at the top, they'll contract work out to the service providers. And these are the people that really need the help in getting the actionable insights and getting access to these pipes so that they can get the job done.
And how are you reaching these people? How are they finding you? How are you finding them? I think I've heard something like 700 calls in a week once. Talk about hustle. How are you reaching them? Hello, there we go.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good hook to have autonomous pipe robots as kind of the thing that we do. So cold calling surprisingly works quite well. As many people would say it's not, it still does work. We also just kind of go out to conventions, show people the tech. I mean, it's a little robot. It's kind of bendy. We call it the ferret. So that's a good kind of draw card for people in the industry.
Amazing. Now, Anna, tell us about if someone, a customer, was able to get Terria in their hand, what are you helping them to do that they can't do right now? Yeah.
So imagine right now every system that would come into play when you're thinking about managing an ecosystem, a city or an urban setting, would have as an output a certain type of data. So if you can think of engineering or construction, they would have the CADs and the Revits and so on. If you think that geospatial systems, they would have 2D data showing the boundaries and et cetera. And then you have the transportation with real-time buses and trains and so on. And every single type of system would have this data locked in, and it's not flowing efficiently, so you can create that bigger picture and understand if you make a decision here affecting transport, how would that affect then the pipes underground or a new development that you want to build in a particular area in the community. So when you don't have that bigger picture and you can't bring all these flows together, then it's a serious problem. And the seriousness is given by the amounts of billions that would be spent and in overrun costs for different major infrastructure projects. And hence, when you do have the flow of information, you cut down those costs, and you build more things in Australia, more projects, more major infrastructure projects in a shorter time.
And just so I can make it really tangible for the audience, who specifically wants that technology? Who wants Terria in their hand? Who are you helping? Is it government, city planners?
Yeah, so it's usually people involved in that life cycle of making a decision about the community. So it would be urban planners, infrastructure developers, environmental analysts. These are the three key sectors that we are talking to and we have worked with in the past and continue to work on.
Okay, so if that's you or anyone you know, you need to go and talk to Terria after this break. One of the fun things about Tech23 is we do lots of briefing calls and we get to know one another. And I think it's pretty cool that on my panel, we might be already collaborating and bringing our technologies together. So, digital twins need accurate underground data, and pipe inspection becomes far more powerful when it's connected to the bigger picture. Your technologies are actually very, very complementary, and we're already having talks about going in to speak to customers together. Tell us about what that could look like, because that's really exciting if you could work together. What's the possibility of your solutions combined?
Yeah, I can, because when we were talking about, it was actually after a call we had with a customer, and he was explaining, and he wasn't the first one, so he was explaining building, a project, a digital twin project, and when you do that, like I said, if you didn't get it by now, in a SimCity, you bring in the electricity, the water, and the underground information. And he was explaining how hard it is to get their hands on accurate underground data, and he was talking about water and other infrastructure. And what he wanted us to do for him was to actually build a digital twin with wrong data. And the wrong data in the underground world, it looks like, over, floating in the air or going into minus centimeters made up, so it looks underground. So it's not made for the 3D real world virtual reality that we are heading towards. So he was the second customer who was talking about that, and he wanted to show how wrong the data is so he can get funding to actually make a new data set and bring the digital twin to life with correct underground data. So that's when we started talking, and hopefully we'll continue.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at pipes, when we came into this industry, it was really about getting a good look at what's going on. So is it a leak? Is there a tree root that's gotten in? And so that's all camera-based. But what we didn't realize, and what's become a really big draw card for our technology, is that just mapping out where these pipes are is a huge value add. So right now, what we do is we create a full digital twin of the pipe as we go through. So we have additional sensors that sit on board the robot. And what that does, it allows us to show in a civil setting what's happening around these pipes. Is it going under a road, under a house, a new construction site, so that no one's hitting these pipes and causing more problems that need to happen?
Do I recall a George Street problem that you had? Can you tell me a little bit? I remember this on the call, something with George Street, one of the major streets in Sydney.
Yeah. I won't name names, but the civil contractor that did the George Street light rail project told us that they uncovered 7,000 pipes they didn't know were there during the excavation for it, and only 400 of those were still online. So it was a hassle, to say the least.
I mean, it really does speak to so much of the infrastructure that we rely on. Even the experts don't know where it is. So I think it's so important what the two of you are doing. Now, Australia, like many countries, is at a crossroad with its infrastructure. I think it's safe to say, like many places, like the UK, where I'm from, what a disaster with their water works. But infrastructure is quite strained and challenged, and I think the way we think about how we're going to build infrastructure in the future, we're going to have to make a decision of whether that's going to be patchwork and siloed and we're just going to hope for the best, or we're going to choose to kind of act and use technologies and collaborate together. But I also want to recognise that there's a major pull for both of you to not have products and technologies launched here. Overseas is always going to be a big challenge. But how do we think about adopting Australian-made innovations here first? Because they're actually tackling challenges that we really need to fix here in Australia. So I'm keen to ask you about how do we think about Team Australia, and how do we think about how can you influence and help people understand why it makes sense to buy Australian and use Australian technologies on Australian infrastructure. Maybe Anna?
Yeah. Where do I start? From sovereign data hosting to understanding, that's one element. The other one is a better understanding of the challenges. So yes, climate is obviously a global challenge, but you do need to have a local context to manage and mitigate the risks, and obviously work towards preventing and so on, and working on the effects of those challenges. So these are just two reasons why we should think before we make a decision, which team am I backing now? Like through my decisions in everyday work and life, which technology, which team am I backing? Because we're always backing, in sports, we're always backing the Olympics team, and we never even think about it. We just do it. So why can't we just apply that thinking to every single small decision we do? Because we all talk about big picture and sim cities, but at the end of the day, is every day and every decision counts, and there are many reasons to do it.
I love that, thinking of deep tech like the Olympics. I like this. Harrison, what about yourself? How are you thinking about this? Where's the pull coming from? Maybe you can give us a bit of an insight in where is the pull coming from for Puralink, but also how can we make it easier for you to sell in Australia?
Yeah, well, Australia is the land of drought and flooding rains, and I think the technology being born out of a time of drought, everyone seems very quick to kind of, it's very fitting today. We've had a lot of rain recently, we've got a lot of rain today. Forget about the challenges we face when things are tough. And it's a technology that is born out of that Australian cycle of drought and flooding rain. So we get a lot of pull at the moment from the UK, as you mentioned, very old pipes, private water utilities, big pull from over there. But really what we want to do is have this impact on a global scale, not just in the parts that are calling for it most.
That's great. And just so again, the audience has a bit of your backgrounds. Anna, tell me a little bit about the Terria founding team.
We came, we started in CSIRO 10 years ago with a team of 2 engineers and a half and a product. So I was working on the product side of things. and spun out of CSRO last year as a company, and doing great. We're pinching ourselves every day that we absolutely love this, new opportunity that it's given to us. It has been given to us through funding. And we've just released our SaaS platform last week, and looking forward to scale that. So yeah.
Great. So can we all see that in the demo area?
Absolutely.
Yes. You can go out in the demo area and have a preview. Harrison, what about you and the team?
Yeah, so 3 founders at Puralink. 2 of us come from like a technical engineering background, another from like product and consulting. And the team's now grown to about 10. So we're working full pace on this tech. We're planning on bringing it to the market in the next 9 months. So we've got our first 3 early customers that we're working with, and we're excited to start fixing some pipe leaks.
Amazing. And so, Harrison, I'll start for people in the room. How can they help you today? What do you need? What can they connect you to? What doors can they open? This is the floor to ask these questions.
Yeah, I mean, on the government side, the biggest kind of customer for civil contractors and service providers is really those big government projects. So in the tendering process, encouraging Australian innovation, Australian technology would be a massive value add for not just Puralink, but I think the wider deep tech ecosystem in Australia.
And Anna, where are you and the Terria team at now, and where are you going, and what can the audience and people in the room help you with as you go forward in this next 12, 18 months?
Yeah, when we started, and I won't talk about the childhood, when we started in 2018 with digital twins, Australia was a pioneer in that, and we set out as our mission to continue that and scale it into a global brand, essentially. Tokyo is using Terria as their platform for their digital twin. So if it's good enough for Tokyo, I think it's good enough for us. And we just want to see more, obviously, more deployments of our platform within Australia and outside of Australia. And we want to scale the business that we've started a year ago, and we are raising a Series A at the end of this year. So if you are interested in being part of that raise, or if you are interested in working on projects with us, or even introducing us to other people, come and talk to us, and yeah, go Team Australia.
Go Team Australia, I love that. We are almost at time. Can we please give a huge round of applause for Anna and Harrison? They're going to be in the Deep Tech Village. You can go and see demos of the robot and the digital twin. 2 phenomenal founders, only been doing this for a few, what they've achieved in just a couple of years is quite phenomenal. I encourage you to go and find them, learn more about their stories, but thank you both. It's great. I can't wait to see the robot. I can't wait to come and see the digital twin after this, but enjoy the rest of your day. You can relax now. You can go and network, and I will thank you so much. I will see you soon.
Thank you.